Hello and welcome to Morning Brew on Hughes of the World. Hope you're all right this morning. Hope you're feeling okay. The rain has come. Of course it has. End of summer. So anyone who's going to the Leeds or Reading Festival this weekend, I'll take some wellies if I were you. I will take some wellies. Morning, folks. We should look at Germany and the rise of the AfD to see that uncapped donations leads only to fash. Don't need to look at don't need to look at Germany. Just look at America. Uncapped donations. That's what Citizens United was in 2011. If it hadn't been for the Citizens United ruling, in which the Supreme Court said, we'll not cap donations at all, that led to billionaires getting involved in politics. Yeah, not great. But we'll get into that in a moment. Finally, real rain for 65 days. But by the looks of it, mate, Andrew, it's gonna last for 65 days. Looking at the weather forecast, it's like, have you seen it? Yeah. Oh, and by the way, stay safe today. There is a yellow weather alert over much of Britain. There is a chance of potential flash flooding, so please keep alert, keep an eye out on the weather, and put things in place if you are somewhere that can easily flood, or could potentially flood, I guess. Billy saying the footage in Nepal was awful. Bloody Jesus, man, it was absolutely horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. Someone said that the climate catastrophe is going to be a succession of you watching videos of horrific things happening around the world, filmed on people's phones, until one day it is you filming it on your phone as it gets closer and closer to home. So yeah, please stay safe today, and I'll talk about the what's happened in on the border of Nepal and China, because that is just and that's somewhere I've been. That where that happened, yeah. Anyway, so first of all, I just want to say thank you for joining me this morning. We've got Jenny in the chat. We've got Billy, Lost Missionary. We've got Miss LB. We have got Gallifreyan Wren. Fantastic. We've got One Angry Pagan as well, and Colin Baker. Morning from Ancaster. Waiting to collect my car. Dropped it off yesterday for service and Mott. They forgot the Mott. So I'm still waiting. What's with the early start? I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to get back to normal. I'm trying to get back to, the kids go back to school next week. So I'm just trying to, get the 9 o'clock. Get the 9 o'clock in. It was 9:05. I was thinking of starting the show yesterday at 9:25 as a little in joke, because of 9 to 5, 9 to got Dolly Parton, but I didn't pull that off. So sorry for that meta joke falling flat. Baldrick, Burnham's cunning plan to reveal the real roots of Farage's funding. I think it's a terrible idea. Andy Burnham, after suggesting that he would cap domestic political donations, has decided not to. This is a reversal of the position that he took before entering number 10. In May, Burnham told the electoral reform campaigner Sean Bowler that his gut feeling was that donations should be capped at around £500,000. I think they should be capped at £5,000 per person. So you've got loads of members who want to give you money, they can. But if you've got like 3 people who are billionaires who want to give you money, they can only give you 15 grand. Burnham explicitly said at the time that a cap will guard against the perception of the party being unduly influenced or swayed by one party or an organisation. But he's now saying that domestic donations cap is not a priority. Okay, and it's because of the unions that he's done this, by the way. Go figure. Not everyone who works and is part of a union has a vested interest in Nigel Farage not becoming leader of the country. I mean, Unite the Union famously backed Brexit. So did the RMT union backed Brexit. Terrible for British workers, but yeah. And then we Brexited, and P&O sacked all of its staff and rehired people from Europe, and There was nothing we could do about it. Somewhere else in Europe. There's nothing we could do about it. And Mick Lynch stood there looking at it going... there you go. But yeah, before I go on as well, by the way, I was saying hello to everyone in the chat. If you would like to join our friendly chat, please stay friendly. Hit the subscribe button. Don't be a troll. Don't be mean. Don't threaten people. Don't call people idiots or whatever. Just be nice. Just please. We got enough. We're not got enough shit going on in the world. Okay, don't need any more. Anyway, so Labour's trade union have strongly opposed strongly opposed the proposed restrictions on donations. GMB wrote to about 80 Labour MPs warning that a cap could disproportionately restrict trade unions, which are already separately regulated in how they spend political funds. Stella Creasy originally proposed a £100,000 cap. Alex Sobel proposed £1 million. Creasy subsequently offered a compromise of £500,000, which could later be reduced. Even that, though, has not won government backing. And sources close to the discussions told The Guardian that Burnham does not consider the issue important enough to justify confrontation with Labour's major financial backers. But I don't understand why they just can't say it can't be an individual, and if it is a organisation or a company that is making the donation, then it has to be something that is supported by the people who are, in the corporation. I don't know how you'll phrase it, but you can't shut unions out. But at the same time, I don't want a billionaire who lives in Thailand most of his life and he comes back once every 5 years to just put his feet on dry land in Britain. I don't see how Christopher Harborne, should be allowed to give his favourite political party tens of millions of pounds. But yeah, the elections bill. So this was going to be an amendment to the elections bill, which is going through Parliament next week. It's going to be an amendment to the election bill, which is going to lower the voting age to 16. So that's going to go through. It is going to tighten. It's intended to prevent foreign money from entering British politics. It's going to tighten rules around that. It's also going to cap donations from British citizens living abroad. So if you're a foreign citizen, you're not allowed to make any donations. If you're a British citizen, that it's going to be capped at 100,000. I mean, that's what we hope anyway. But Labour MPs are separately trying to add restrictions on cryptocurrency donations. I think they should be banned straight out because of the muddying of the waters that cryptocurrency offers, which makes it so damn tempting for oligarchs, gangsters, and Donald Trump. But also, they're also trying to potentially add wider electoral reform amendments, which probably won't go through unless the government's backing it. It probably won't go through. So I think this is going to be a missed opportunity that they could have capped British political donations at, let's say, 100,000. But okay, let's say 500,000. Go on then in a year. But I think this would cost Burnham dearly for a bunch of reasons. It's a U-turn, isn't it? He specifically advocated for a cap before becoming Prime Minister. Big donors have objected. He's gone, let's get rid of this restriction. And that sort of weakens what up till now was his strongest political asset, which is trust. And a lot of people on here don't trust it to start with, but out in the wider public who don't pay that much attention to politics, this will dent it, I think, at least a little bit. I'm sure I can hear Phil Morehouse's voice in me going, voters don't care about this. But I'm sure that there are some that will. But the worry that I have is that reform will open the floodgates now. You'll have people like Christopher Harborne claiming to be British citizens because he's a Thai citizen with a Thai name, but also, yeah, he's a British citizen. He's got two passports. He's got passports of two different countries. And it's going to allow someone like him to buy a property in the UK, pretend he comes here for a day every 17 and a half years or whatever the threshold is, just to get into that bracket that he can give unlimited sums to refuck. And there is no real groundswell of popularity for Nigel Farage. It's all astroturfing, all this stuff, saying how much the people want to suck his ass. It's all on it's all bots. It's all paid for. Even people delivering leaflets for refuck are paid. There's no volunteers there, and they need a lot of money, not just to keep Farage in the lifestyle to which he has become accustomed, but also to keep the party going and to be able to field candidates in every single constituency in the country. That costs a lot of money. It's not cheap, especially if you was smaller parties and you think you're going to lose a seat. It's 500 quid per seat. It adds up. It adds up if you're a smaller party. This is a worry for me. I think that the 500,000 figure was hardly revolutionary, but at least it was a cap. At least it stopped people like Christopher Harbour giving 5 million to Nigel Farage. And the union problem was real, but it was solvable. I mean, there's a huge difference between one wealthy individual cutting a huge check for Nigel Farage and his twats, or a trade union giving money raised through the political contributions of hundreds of thousands of documented members. And legislation could potentially recognise that distinction rather than abandoning the entire principle of a cap. Individual donations are capped at X, and I think there should be a law against political donations being made again, through companies, unless it's something in kind. Where I don't know how you'd do it, but if you go to a gig or a sporting event or something, there could be some more restrictions around that, but like nothing too crazy. But yeah, I just think that this is, I think this is now being presented the way that it's been dismissed as a binary choice between protecting union affiliation for Labour, not voting for Christmas for Thanksgiving if you're turkeys or whatever the expression is, but there's got to be a somewhere in between, protecting union affiliation and allowing unlimited mega donations from crypto bros who don't even really live here. And once an unlimited donation is accepted, the political damage cannot easily be reversed. And I can't see this being a good idea. I just can't. Anyway, so yeah. Jenny says, I've decided to stop being a trans woman and be a cis woman, saves a lot of hassle. Yeah, good idea. Unfortunately, the gobshites are just everywhere, and they're well funded. It's a bit shit. Sorry, it's a bit shit. But like I say, I mean, I put this down as like, the question of this is Burnham's first big mistake. But I know that his first big mistake was not getting rid of that bloody guidance, eh? But there you go. Burnham's first big mistake was not cutting off the sale and weapons and logistical support to Israel. A second, sucking up to reform characters, allowing billionaires to make big donations is madness. I'm also fuming that a private developer has been handed 350 million in taxpayer money for return of building 60 affordable housing. Is that right? There's 350 because there's a lot of hyperbole online about this money that's being given to councils around the country and mayoralties around the country to get building with houses. But I mean, 60 affordable houses for that much? That seems a bit that 350 million for 60 affordable housing. I mean, so what? Each house is worth £3 million. Chris, I can't speak on this because I haven't looked up the figures that you're referring to, and obviously it takes a lot longer to fact check something than just say it in the first place. But yeah, as with Israel though, I think we might be seeing something in the next few weeks because Burnham is very much against what Israel is doing, a lot more it seems than Starmer was. But the other thing is that that they are talking about sanctions that are going to affect the antics of the Israeli government, settlers, the IDF in the West Bank, and those sanctions, they're kind of going to be a bit fuzzy. There's going to be some cross-border sanction shenanigans going on, which mean that the sanctions on the West Bank, or what Israel is doing in the West Bank, could affect the whole of Israel. So yeah, we'll see. So, Parliament's not back yet. Parliament's not back. This is really disappointing news. I do care about the donations along with the other issues impacting people's lives currently. Yeah. Well, I did say on the date that he got made the Prime Minister, he will let you down. So, I was right. Because it's impossible not to piss somebody off when you're in the position that he is in. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, to be honest with you. No, because I wouldn't want my worst enemy to be Prime Minister, because he's a right dick. Anyway, but yeah, we'll talk a little bit now about this catastrophic flood in Nepal and Tibet. Flash floods and enormous debris flows struck the Himalaya border region on Wednesday. At least 165 people have been confirmed dead, but there's over 1,500 people who are missing, including 700 foreigners. It's one of the few borders in the world for getting overland into China. It's the only one that allows you to get into Tibet. That footage of it of that wave, just a wall of mud. So many dozens of feet tall. Like it swamps the whole building. Analysis by experts and the US Geological Survey indicates that seismic signal came from the enormous glacier collapse, which has been caused by climate change. So this is climate change. This is climate catastrophe happening in real time in front of our very eyes. After the hottest summer on record here in the UK, we're going to have floods today. We're going to have lots of footage of very fast flowing water today in the UK. Like I say, please stay safe today if you can. Just be aware. I'm not saying to, get your stilts out, but just be aware if you're living in a area that could get flooded. Just put some things in place to make sure that the worst doesn't happen. Satellite imagery show that suggest that ice fell from roughly 5,200 meters to around 1,200 meters, generating a huge debris flow with water levels downstream rising by as much as 9 meters in half an hour. Oh, Jesus. In a 2023 UN assessment showed that Himalayan glacier loss had accelerated dramatically. Establishing exactly how much climate change contributed to this will require further analysis, according to the article I'm reading. But fuck that shit. It was fucking climate change. Are you mad? You turn up the thermostat and you leave the freezer open. Your freezer's got a thaw in it. Just crazy. Talking of crazy, just want to jump over to the Trump show over in America. I don't try not to dwell on this too much, but I just want to point out that Donald Trump has said that if they don't put his name back on the Kennedy Center, this art center in Washington, D.C., if they don't put his name back on the Kennedy Memorial Center and make it the Donald J. Trump Memorial Center, even though he's not dead. Not yet, anyway. He's going to demolish it. He's going to demolish the building, the whole building. The whole building's getting demolished because he can't have his name on it. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So, one of my faves, another fantastic queer ally, Tim Curry, died at the age of 80, as did Dolly Parton, age of 80. Do you know anyone else who's around the age of 80? Might be next. Tim Curry died peacefully in his Los Angeles home, aged 80. No specific cause of death has been publicly announced. He was born in Warrington in 1946. He studied English and drama at Birmingham University, and his breakthrough came as Dr. Frankenfurter in the original stage production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then the subsequent 1975 film. So it was a Rocky Horror Show, and then it became the Rocky Horror Picture Show when it was on the cinema. And his other memorable roles was as Satan in the Ridley Scott film Legend with Tom Cruise. Well, he wasn't Satan, he was Darkness. He played Wadsworth, the butler, in Clue. Do you remember Clue? One of the things I love about the movie Clue, and I was too young to appreciate it at the time because I didn't get to see it at the cinema. But if you've seen the movie Clue, you know it's based on the board game Cluedo, which is called Clue in America. And if you watch the version that you've probably seen on TV or on VHS, DVD, whatever, it has 3 different endings. One in which Miss Peacock does it, another one in which Colonel Mustard or someone does it, and then the last one in which they all do it, right? It's very clever and it's very funny, right? And it says, here's that could have happened, but here's what really happened, right? When it got released at the cinema in America, randomly, each cinema that was screening the film randomly were allocated a different ending. So depending on which screening you went to in which cinema, you would think that a different character carried out the murders in Clue. It's absolutely brilliant. I don't know why we don't do this more. You know, having different endings for a film, like a silly film, like a whodunit, you know, a comedy film, having different endings, especially now as things are digital. This is back in the day when it was all optical. This is when it turned up in a big chest, you know, full of film. You know, we have digital print. We have digital prints now. We don't need that. So I'd love a film. I don't know if a film's done it since to have different endings depending on where you went to see, to make people argue about who actually did it. You know, they don't, no, it wasn't. What are you talking about? No, it wasn't that. They didn't do it. No, it was. In the same way that Monty Python, there's no riddle, isn't there? How many grooves on one side of a record? And the answer is 1. There's only 1 groove. You think, oh no, there must be loads, but no, it's just 1, isn't it? Because it's a spiral. However, for the Monty Python record, I forgot what it was called now, one of the Monty Python records, they actually put 2 grooves in the record. So depending on where you dropped it, you'll get a completely different sketch in the same part of the record. They just did this to fuck with people, and I love that. But yes, Tim Curry received 3 Tony nominations, including for Amadeus and Spamalot. He played King Arthur in Spamalot until he had a severe stroke in 2012 that affected his mobility, but he continued working as a voice actor. He also played Count Richelieu in The Three Musketeers. He was the hotel concierge in Home Alone 2. He didn't have very nice things to say about Donald Trump, who was also in there. But for me, his most iconic role really would be Pennywise in the TV movie of It. The first half of which was fucking brilliant. The second half was fucking shite. It was great when they were kids. It was crap when they were grown-ups. I just don't care. I just didn't have John Boy Walton. Was he in that? Was he in the TV adaptation of It? Hey kid, what a balloon! But yeah, so he just threw himself into everything that he was in. And although the Muppets Treasure Island isn't that good, it's nowhere near as good as the Muppets Christmas Carol. He was fantastic in it. Wonderful guy, and a life well lived. You know, a life well lived. Chris says and the removal of VAT on domestic energy bills will be effectively wiped out by the 4% increase in October, with the government saying there'll be no more support this year. Yeah, again, like could we talk about this for just a moment, right? We need to get gas out of our mix, right? The reason why oil hasn't gone through the fucking roof. Everyone was saying, oh, you know, with the bombing of Iran and the shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, that barrels of oil, experts were saying barrels of oil were going to go up to $200 a barrel, right? They barely went over 100. And there's a reason for that. China hadn't just been building up its stock of oil. They've been buying loads of oil while it was cheap and like basically hoarding it, right? For this moment. But also the electrification. The electrification of China is absolutely mind-blowing. There is a onshore wind farm. I think it's up in the, I don't know where it is in China. I think it's in the northwest of China, maybe. But this is a wind farm that produces over 10 gigawatts of energy when the wind is blowing. 10 gigawatts of energy. And I know China's a much bigger country than the UK, but our usual amount that we use in the UK for the whole country is between 30 and 40 gigawatts for the entire nation, you know. And that's when everyone puts the kettle on at halftime in the World Cup or something, you know. And so for one wind farm to be doing that, half of cars now, I don't know if it's new cars or just cars in general, are electric. A quarter of the lorries and trucks are electric now in China. They are going absolutely gung-ho for renewables in a way that some other countries should be but aren't. Japan is really suffering for lagging behind so far when it comes to renewable energy, something they should have been on a long time ago. They've got nuclear power plants, yes. However, after the Fukushima disaster, public sentiment was kind of against nuclear power plants, and they do have a problem that we don't have in the United Kingdom, which is that the United Kingdom has a lot of shallows around it, right? They've got Dogger Bank, where we have famous wind farm. We've also got the banks off the Mersey estuary, off the Seaham, Durham coast, off Seaham here in Durham. You have areas where the distance from the top of the water to the seabed isn't that far. It's just maybe a couple of dozen meters, if that. However, around Japan, it's just a fucking sheer drop. It's like a drop. I mean, it's like 2 kilometers. So what they have to do is if they want to have offshore wind farms, and there's not much land available, flat land, which is good for wind farms on the islands of Japan itself. That they're having to have floating wind turbines, and there is wind farms, wind being set up, arrays of wind turbines being set up in the water around Japan, but it's stuff that's only like coming online like this year, or came on in January this year or something. They're very much behind, whereas China's like it's miles ahead. It's miles ahead, and because they knew this was coming. And it's interesting that a lot of the oil that they built up in their stockpile, it was last year. It was when Trump won. As soon as Trump won, they were like, fuck this shit. And they've also got a back door for oil coming in from Russia, which they shouldn't be buying, but they are. So they're sitting pretty at the moment. Here in the UK, we're playing catch up. We're absolutely playing catch up. We have wind turbines that should have been installed 20 years ago that are finally getting installed now. Right? There's a bunch of new wind farms off the coast of Britain that are getting put in. The Labour government, one of the first things they did when they won the election in 2024 was take off the Tories' effective moratorium on onshore wind farms. So that went, but the progress isn't. It's pretty fast comparatively to other countries, but still, it's not quite fast enough. But we really, really need to get off gas. We need to get off gas because the way that Ofgem is acting at the moment, in the same way that Ofwat behaves with the water companies, and Ofcom behaves with GB News, and Ofsted behaves with private schools, it seems like a fucking cartel. It seems like these ombudsman overseers, whatever it's supposed to be, this group that is supposed to look after this quango, they're supposed to look after the interests of consumers, are not interested in looking after the interests of consumers. They seem more concerned about looking at the bottom line for the investors in electricity, water, education in this country. And I can fuck off. Seriously, I think that is just so disgraceful. And the energy cap going up again because of Donald Trump. But what I think is even worse, in a way, is the fact that you've got the Tories and you've got the refuckers, right? And they're both saying we need to stop this net zero lock. We need to stop building wind farms. We need to stop having solar panels in fields. We need to stop doing this. We need to stop, bring on the climate apocalypse. Yeah, bring it on. And I'm just like, they're going to cause people to be completely reliant on Trump not being mad, Putin not being mad, Netanyahu not being mad. Yeah, good luck with that. And going and invading a neighbouring country or bombing a country on the other side of the world and making the oil price go up. And we don't have any control over the price of oil. I keep saying this. And we don't get a friends and family discount for these fucking oil fields that they're going to open in the North Sea. You're going to drill for oil and they'll say, oh, great, cool. Do we get a discount now? How many jobs is it going to create? 60. My physics teacher used to regularly pun what is a unit of energy and play the Wurlitzer at Howden Leweer. True. Thanks for that, Billy. Ori is on this morning, Martin. You should book there. Ogri. You should book there in a damn fine time will be had. Pagan, if I remember rightly, Meatloaf played Eddie. Yes, who then got eaten because it was Meatloaf. And they didn't make the joke in Rocky Horror Picture Show there. What is this? It tastes like meatloaf. I would have put that joke in, but there you go. Not me. Do you know what? I don't know why, but you know the Mandela effect. Here's my Mandela effect, right? I saw the Rocky Horror Picture Show when I was an absolute kid, and it wasn't until years later that I went back and watched it because I think maybe my girlfriend at the time hadn't seen it. So I was like, we should need to watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And it was only when I watched it, I think it was probably in my 20s, that I realised that all that time I had been conflating this is going to annoy one angry pagan so much. But you know the Queen song, Gonna Make a Supersonic Man Out of You? I thought that was from Rocky Horror. I don't know, because he does the song about in a week he's going to make a man out. I conflated those two songs and I was convinced for so long and I was watching it going, when are they going to do that Queen song? And then I realised actually, no, that wasn't in the film. There you go. That was my Mandela effect. Can someone please explain to me why the government is guaranteeing to pay the wages of 18 to 21-year-olds for 6 months if large companies employ them? I assume because it's cheaper than paying dole. Also, it gives the kids some experience. Also, because Lord Sainsbury gave Andy Burnham a load of fucking money. Gave him, what was it, £130,000 towards his election fund. Even though Lord Sainsbury isn't actually running the company anymore. Still owns shares in it though, doesn't he? Rocky Horror Picture Show cast hid Easter eggs around the set. That's where the modern film term comes from. Yes, that is. I love that fact from Jenny. That's great, that because it's true. Blah blah. He is ruled out capping. Oh, I thought Chris, you're responding to blah blah CW, aren't you? I was like blah blah blah. What do you? I thought you were taking the piss, but no, you're not. So that's okay. It's called Don't Stop Me Now. Oh yes, that's what it's called. Don't Stop Me. I thought Don't Stop Me Now featured in the Rocky Horror Picture Show until I was in like my mid-20s, and then I watched it and I went, hang on. There you go. I Can Make You a Man. So I got the songs I Can Make You a Man and I'm Gonna Make a Supersonic Man Out of You. I got them conflated. True story. There you go. Anyway, so where was I? Oh, do you know what? I haven't done this one. I haven't set a target. I haven't set a target. I'm gonna have to do that, aren't I? We'll get into trouble with Diz. Sorry, Diz. Sorry, Diz. I love you, Diz. Don't hit me. It's cake or death with Diz, you see. So let's have cake and then cake or death. Cake, please. I'll put a little red balloon in there in honor of the late great Tim Curry. Love that guy. So basically, why don't we just pay every employee's wages and allow companies to make a massive profit? Oh wait, we do that already with universal credit. Yeah, because companies don't pay people enough to live on. because wages have not gone up in line with inflation. Wages have not gone up in line with the cost of a house. I read yesterday that if the price of the price of a dozen eggs had gone up in line with the inflation of house prices, a dozen eggs would be £32. I think that was right. £32 for a dozen eggs. That is crazy. I liked Tim Curry. I didn't like the Rocky Horror Show. Oh, really? Oh, look the Rocky Horror. High camp. Cake or death, says Tiz. She's not fucking around this morning. Cake, please. I'll have death. Oh, no, I mean cake. No, too late. Said it now. Sounds like Burnham has a running theme of doing what his donors want. Well, I mean, with the donation things, it's I guess the unions are donors if you want to look at it that way. But it was the unions who said, no, don't do this. Anyway, Wooniverse. This is why no one should be able to own a company outright. If they hire someone, it should be equal shares. It tackles inequality better than wealth tax because you don't allow the money to pile. Yeah. There should be mechanisms in companies where basically, if you're going to have shareholders, then the employees of that company need to be, let's say, 50% or 40% of the shareholders of that company. They have to be by law. And that will make the when they have the executive meetings and stuff, it's not just going to be one person's whim of what they want to do, you know. To quote Ren, Burnham is a bellend. Question. You said Graham Burnham doesn't consider capping donations important. We know he doesn't consider my rights important. So what exactly does the King of the North feel is important? I don't know. I don't know. Stop and refuck from getting in, but I don't know if this is the best way of going about it. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. And obviously, if he did consider it important, he would put an amendment into this bill that's going through anyway. The bill is going through. It's going to reduce the voting age to 16 and a bunch of other things. It's going to cap foreign donations at 100,000. Or actually, not foreign donations. British people living abroad. It's going to cap their donations at 100,000. But it's not going to do anything about British people living here giving huge sums to political parties, which I think is wrong. Not even time to finish my cake. No, there is no more time, even for cake. For you, the cake is over. You have reached the end of cake. It's all in caps, not because one angry pagan is angry, but because death in Terry Pratchett's novels famously only speaks in capitals, which is just genius. Love it. Well, one of the things I always loved about Terry Pratchett and also Douglas Adams is how playful they were with the medium of the written word. I love their turn of phrases, and especially Douglas Adams on that. But I also love the way they used footnotes and things like that to express funny little ideas that they had, and I love that stuff. There's an author called Jasper Ford who I really like, who does the Tuesday Next. Is that her name? God, it might be Thursday Next. No, I think it's Tuesday Next Chronicles. It's about a woman who jumps into historical books and fixes the endings and things, but ends up burning down Rochester's mansion. But yeah, it's very funny. And again, you know, the playful use of the English language and playful use of the medium of print, I really, really appreciate. I think that we should do that more. You know, in my book, in Man of the World, there is a bit where I have an argument with my editor. Not an argument, but I have a discussion with my editor about the correct name for a 3D printer, which he insists is a CDC milling machine, to which I respond in the notes. I bet you're fun at parties. But yeah, death doesn't speak, the words appear in your mind. Good point. But it's all in caps. My point is that it's all in caps. But yeah, I love the turn of phrases as well. You know, Douglas Adams, and the Vogon ships hung in the air exactly the same way that bricks don't. That's so good. Like, what? Brilliant. Just absolutely fucking genius. I miss Terry Pratchett and I really miss Douglas Adams. I mean, Terry Pratchett, I feel, was taken too early, but at least he got like, what? How many Discworld novels are there? Or Terry Pratchett books? There's what, 40, 42, something like that. Someone's going to tell me in the chat now how many there were. But Douglas Adams, I mean, famously didn't. He wasn't too into deadlines, was he? He said he liked the whooshing noises they made as they flew by. Yeah, he was taken too young. He had so many more jokes to tell. Fucking yeah. I like nothing anymore. Oh, come on, El. You like this, don't you? You like this? Like our little show in the morning where we come and take the piss out of what's going on and cock a snook. Is that the expression? We snook a cock at what's going on in the world right now? Because otherwise, yeah, it is a bit much, isn't it? 42 Discworld novels. There you go. I said 42. Look at that. Oh, I'm back on the quiz team. Ren, and he has stated in an interview that he since took the role of defense secretary, has seen a large increase in homophobic abuse aimed towards him. Is that our friend? Is that our friend Wesley? Shut up, Wesley. Terrible Pratchett came to see a musical of Weird Sister. I wrote at uni, says Jenny. Is that his Sunday name? Terrible. That's really cool. Came to see a musical of Weird Sisters. I wrote at uni. That is so cool. What a claim to fame. No, I got what you mean. Terry Pratchett came to a musical that you wrote. That is so awesome. It deserves a blue plaque. That is very, very cool. But I'm kind of jealous. I never got to meet Terry Pratchett. Never got to meet Douglas Adams. I would like. That is cool, Jenny. Yeah, it's very cool. I think that's got to go. Comment of the day. You're going to get comment of the day, Jenny. There you go, Jenny. Comment of the day. No fucking around here. Look at that. Straight in there. Wow. What a claim to fame. Very, very cool. Very, very impressive. Wesley is a wet wipe. Wesley is a wet wipe. No. Says we're in a verse. Yeah, but he shouldn't suffer homophobic abuse, obviously. Then if you don't stand up for people in your own community, imagine if Martin Luther King had stood up and said, I have a dream in which little white kids and little black kids are playing together, but not the mixed race kids. They can fuck off. They can continue to use a special mixed race kid toilet. Everyone's like, Martin, have you lost your fucking mind, mate? Marty, come here, mate. Come here. What the fuck? What are you saying about mixed race kids, mate? Well, they're not really black, are they? Yeah, things that never happened. Things that never happened because that would be crazy. That would be too crazy for someone who was like the leader of a community of people to turn around and go, oh, not that one, not that group over there, not them, which is what Wesley fucking has done, Shut up, Wesley. Well, there you go. The world has been a poorer place since Terry Pratchett left it. Yeah, Steve, absolutely. Bowie left it. 10 years ago this year, we lost Bowie. And it all started just going. That was when we had our sliding doors moment, and we made our way towards the bad place. Personally, I wouldn't abuse Wesley for being gay, but if people do, I'm not going to defend him. Let nature take its course again. No, I'm universe. I wouldn't go that far. Do you know what I mean? If people are, people can call him a gobshite and tell him he looks like a fucking haunted ventriloquist doll and he's far too shiny faced. That's fine. I don't care about that. But going after his sexuality in this day and age, I don't think that's a tribute of Wesley Streetings that people should really be going after him for. It's not on. Okay, so where was I? Meta. Oh, Meta. There's some good news. Good news, everyone. Oh, do you know what? Right, I said I need to do a pork markets pop-up. I'm going to do a good... Remind me if I forget about this. Good news, everyone. Right, I'm going to get Farnsworth from... I'm going to get a clip of Farnsworth from Futurama. and he's just going to come up in the corner of the screen here and go, "Good news, everyone!" His famous catchphrase from Futurama. Meta has had to settle its teen addiction case because it could have run into trillions. So they have settled it for $17 billion, but that's going to be paid for over 10 years. So it's not like exceptionally good news, but the states accused Facebook and Instagram of deliberately designing addictive products harmful to children. So it is not just agreed for the 17 billion, which is peanuts for a company as big as Meta, and also it's going to be whittled down because they'll do appeals against it or something, and eventually when they do pay it in 10 years' time, it'll be paid for out of an insurance fund. It will not be paid for out of the pockets of the people who own the company. Of course it won't. But it has agreed to additional protections for teenage users across the US. Now, this is just for the US at the moment. It's not. I don't think it's going to be rolled out anywhere else. But obviously, the pressure will be on for them to roll it out everywhere because otherwise, more lawsuits will come on the back of this. Measures include daily usage restrictions, muting messages when kids are in school between 9 and 5. Was it 9 till 3? Is it or something? 8 till 3? 8 till 3. During weekdays when kids are supposed to be in school, and also not allowing access in the nighttime hours between midnight and 6 in the morning. Also a 2-hour cutoff of using the main site, although this won't actually affect the messaging app, which is a problem because a lot of kids don't actually use Facebook because it's like a place where only old people hang out and go, "Oh, remember when this city centre used to look like this? And now it looks like that." But the thing is, I don't remember it looking like the old version because I was born after they built that 1960s concrete shite. Just saying. Because you made me sad now. Look, you made me sad. Oh, that's what it used to look like. Oh, very sad. Yeah. Anyway, they need to switch CERN back on so we can kind of get back to the good timeline. Another house in Middlesbrough was rammed today, says Chris, amid fears of an escalating gang violence outbreak in the town after a girl and her aunt were killed in a house fire. Because we had that crash, didn't we, where the two coppers got killed, and like the kids who were in the car, all tied to gangsters, organised crime around Middlesbrough. It's not too far from me, Find them 100,000 a day until they make the platform safe for all users rather than restrict users. Yeah, that'd be good. Captain Coconut, seems the IDF has been given orders to clamp down on Palestinian flying kites. We heard right. Flying a kite in Palestine can now get our heads blown off. This is a seemingly ridiculous story that if you dig into it, it becomes a little less ridiculous. But then you dig in it a bit more, and it becomes even more ridiculous than you thought it was in the first place. So, essentially, there is a threat of Hamas using kites to basically drop munitions, bombs, or whatever, little bombs, I guess, over the border fence, whatever it is, that divides Gaza from the rest of Israel. So in border areas, the Israeli government, the IDF, have said you're not allowed to fly kites near Israeli, Palestinian-Israeli border, right? Which they said, that's the rule. Okay, whatever. You're not allowed to fly kites by power lines, and you're not supposed to fly them over military bases or whatever. So that's the rule, right? But there's two things. First of all, it's been reported like it's the whole of Gaza and the West Bank, which it isn't. But Israel is behaving like it is. So, like I said, it seems less absurd when you say, well, if they're attaching bombs to these things, or they could attach bombs, which seems a bit far-fetched to me, but whatever. Let's humour them for a moment and say, yeah, okay, whatever. But the response is from the Israeli government, right? To kids flying kites. They said, stop flying kites, or ... What do you think they said? Do you think they said, we'll come and confiscate the kites? Option 1. Option 2, we'll come along with a big pair of scissors and snip the kite and the kite will fly off. That was option 2. Or option 3, we will fire missiles at a city miles away from where anyone's flying any fucking kites and just randomly kill some civilians. Yeah, you're right. It's the third one. It's the third. Stop flying your kites or we'll literally launch weapons of mass destruction into what's left of your cities, says the Israeli government to the kids of Gaza. I just... It's a no concept of optics here. Like, what the... And the problem is, well, there's lots of problems. One of the many problems with Israel at the moment, right, is that a lot of Israelis and the Israeli government and the Israeli Defense Force in particular have adopted the Millwall stance, the MAGA stance, the Argentinian stance, the North Korean stance of everybody hates us and we don't care, which is a really bad mindset to get into, right? If you have a child who is misbehaving and you've got some responsibility over that child, maybe it's your child, maybe it's maybe you're a teacher, right? One of the worst things you can do, short of corporal punishment, right, is keep telling that kid that they're a naughty child, or tell them that they're a cunt, or tell them that they're wrong somehow, or, that they are a bad child. Okay, let's put it that way. The worst thing you can do is tell them that they are a bad child over and over again, right? You can encourage them to do better and be a better person. Yes, absolutely. But if you keep telling a child, actually, this is anyone. If you keep telling somebody that they're a cunt, one day they'll just go, oh, okay, I am a cunt then. Fair enough. And then they go off and do cuntish things because that's how they're now defining themselves. And that gives you a license to do really, really horrible things to people. Just like what's happening in Israel. This is what informed the dickheads at the World Cup with the sign saying that the Falklands were somehow Argentinian, you know? Everybody hates us and we don't care. Everybody hates us and maybe it doesn't matter what we do. They're going to hate us anyway. So we might as well just be as hateful as possible, which obviously has two meanings, hateful. And yeah, I think it's a dangerous road to go down. And that story to me, essentially it sums up fucking everything that Israel is doing wrong. I mean, do they have no sense of optics? Do they have no sense of, how this comes across, how this is going to play out? And they're like, no, we'll explain it to people and then they'll understand and they'll come on side. And it's like, people don't go further than the headlines, mate. We stop flying your kites or we'll bomb your cities. I mean, that's your headline. That's not making Israel look great, is it? It's not making Israel look good. It's not making Israel look like the good guys. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, yes, Foucault only had one success. What? Oh, McFadden is talking out his backside. He stated that it was good to see 18-year-olds work within a few weeks. They've been on the dole for 2, 3, or even 4 years. Do the maths, McFadden. Seriously, my brain is against me. In my dreams, it's stopping me from using the ladies' toilets. Elle, you go use the ladies' toilets, Elle. Elle, you go use the ladies' toilets. If anyone tries to stop you, fucking sue them. Fucking sue them. Because you're not allowed to be discriminated against. This is why the guidance is bollocks, because the guidance goes against what it says in the Equalities Act. You can't be discriminated against for being trans. That's why the guidance will collapse under the weight of its own fucking contradictions, because it was written by some dickhead TERFs who don't live in the real world. The IDF do not see children, they see future terrorists, and this is why they target them, and they have the excuse. ICC, why do you shoot children? They were flying kites, says Captain Coconut. Yeah. But like in movies, right? In movies, when the bad guy, it's there's the showdown at the end of the movies, and they've got the magic wands out. What do they call them in America? Guns. They've got the magic guns out, and they're pointing the guns, and the baddie grabs a child, right? This happens a lot in movies. They grab a child, put the child in front of them, and they're like, "Go on, copper! Yeah, go on, copper!" Like that. And they've got this small child there, right? And the child's like, and it's already tense, and the music's going, oh God, what's going to happen? He's got a child as a literal human shield. never seen in a movie. The cop, the good guy, the person who's trying to bring down the baddie, going, oh no, it's okay. I can kill that child in order to kill the person behind them because they're a human shield. And if they didn't want to be a human shield, well, they shouldn't have put themselves into that situation. And who knows? I mean, that child that I killed in order to kill the person behind, they could have been the next Hitler. You know, they could have been the next Mussolini. They could have been the next Donald Trump, you know. You go out the cinema after watching a movie in which that happens. Fucking, you know, you can imagine like the rest of the coppers like, oh, what the fuck? And they're running over to this dying child with blood spurting out of it. And you're like, ah! And then they're like, oh my God. And the cop who's just shot this kid is like, oh, well, you know, if you're going to stand in the way, you know, what? Would you walk out the cinema going, oh, that was great? No, you fucking wouldn't. You'd want to see that cop put away for life for murdering a small child for no reason. Oh, but there was a terrorist behind the child, so I had to. I had no choice to throw a grenade at them and blow them both up. No, like, I did just... One sec. Okay, is that still working? Good. Usually when I move my mic, I do worry about it stopping work. Anyway, where were we? Oh, we were talking about the price cap, weren't we? Yeah. So 1st of October, the off-gen price cap increase by 4%. I think I talked about this yesterday. Wholesale gas has risen about 11%. The prices of wholesale gas have risen about 11% over the previous 3 months because of the Middle East conflict caused by Trump. But the removal of VAT from household electricity takes effect at the same time. So the increase for the 4% is going to be £60, and then the VAT being dropped is going to take away about £45. So it's going to be about £15 more. I don't know, right? The whole thing is crazy. But what really sticks in my craw, what really grinds my gears, is the fact that the oil companies are making out like fucking bandits, aren't they? Have you seen the profits they've made? Have you seen the profits? Have you seen the promised land? Prophesized by the prophets of PP? They're making out like fucking bandits. Supply and demand, innit? There's less supply. There's just as much demand. Well, actually, no, demand's going down as well. But it doesn't matter because they can charge more for it. And, these companies, these poor companies like Exxon and Royal Dutch Shell and BP were like, oh, we've got no money left anymore. We're going to have to fold. We're going bankrupt because of all the conflict in the world. Then I wouldn't have sympathy. But like, at least I'll go, okay, well, it kind of makes sense, I guess, through a scanner darkly. But they're making out like bandits. They're making billions and billions and billions of pounds, dollars, Japanese yen, whatever they're trading in. They're making an absolute fucking fortune. And they're going, oh, we're gonna have to stop this. Gonna have to stop this lark of selling oil at a reasonable price. Not making enough profit. Off-gen. Not worth the paper it's printed on. I don't think Burnham is being a C unit, to be fair. There's a harsh reality to politics and has to be adapted like any PM. McFadden reminds me of Colonel Nicholson, Bridge on the River Kwai. What a great movie. Getting the disabled out the hospital to paint his bridge. We'll build that bridge for our mortal enemy, and it'll be the best damn bridge anyone's ever built. Yeah, well done, Alec Guinness. He kept his troops alive, to be fair. He kept his troops alive, but then he fell in love with his bridge, didn't he? Fell in love with his stupid bridge. It was a good bridge, though, Alec. It was a good bridge. What a movie, though. Bridge on the River Kwai. Graham is Western up. Tax revenues from fossil fuel industries last year was around 4.4 billion. In the same period, they claimed 17.5 billion in tax rebates and subsidies. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What? These people running these Ofcom type things made shed loads of money, top jobs in the industry they're supposed to be regulating. Does anyone here have any faith in Ofsted? Ofcom, off what? Ofgen, or the Equalities and Human Rights Commission? Does anyone here? Anyone think they're the goodies? There's a really horrible story here about 40 children who disappeared from asylum hotels remain missing. So 472 unaccompanied asylum-seeking children reported missing from Home Office-run hotels. 432 have so far been found. So that's 40 that are still unaccounted for. This is when the Tories were putting asylum seekers in their mates' hotels, and their mates were making out like bandits and probably giving backhanders to the Tories who made this policy a reality. A great expense to the taxpayer, because it's one of the most expensive ways of dealing with a problem. Ask the Tories, go on. Ask the Tories what the most expensive way of dealing with and they're like, oh, well, can I get a backhander out of this? But 2 of those children are still believed to be children today, and they're probably being sex trafficked or exploited in other ways. And the Parliament Joint Committee on Human Rights is demanding more transparency over efforts to locate those still missing. The High Court ruled in 2023 that routinely accommodating unaccompanied children in Home Office hotels was unlawful. But until then, the Tories were happy to do it, and hundreds of children went missing. We've had a figure put on the hot weather. The extreme heat. New ONS analysis estimates that there have been over 40,000 deaths in England, just England, associated with hot weather between 1988 and 2025. Although cold remained the larger historical killer, with nearly 140,000 cold-associated deaths over the same period, but the difference has narrowed as extreme summer temperatures have become more common. Older people, particularly vulnerable, and secondary and respiratory illnesses account for much of that excess mortality. London has an especially high heat-related death rate because of the urban heat island effect and the terrible town planning and infrastructure and architecture of the 1960s and 70s. The practical adaptations we need to see are cooler homes, more shade, more urban trees, loads more trees, millions more trees, more preparedness in hospitals, more trees around fucking hospitals because people are going into hospitals and then it's too hot in the fucking hospitals. Anyone who went into the old the horrific Liverpool Royal Infirmary at any point in the summer before they knocked that bastard thing down, thank God, will know that it was horrific. If you were in there on a hot day, there was no airflow. There was no fucking windows that actually fucking opened. And you'd be in a room and you'd be sweating your ass off, getting your knob checked out or whatever it is that they needed to do. And it was just horrific. It was just absolutely bloody horrific. And it's not much better in hospitals around the country. You got hotels that don't have air conditioning, people stuck in these hotels that they're paying fuckloads of money for. The windows don't open because they're too high up. I mean, the whole of our infrastructure is designed for a temperature range, a very narrow temperature range of around, I don't know, plus 3, plus 4 degrees C to around 25, 26 degrees C. That's it. That's our range. Anything below that, anything above that, and people fucking die. Infrastructure falls apart. Trains start to derail. Not just the mountain passes become impassable, but the main roads go out of use. The M62 grinds to a halt, as it did when the beast from the east came and twatted us all up the wrong. And in 2021, was it that happened? The beast from the east. Oh no, it was 20. Was it 2019? The Beast from the East? God, was it that long ago? Can't remember. Just remember getting stuck in Rochdale for the night. Fucking Rochdale. Ugh. Wait and see. Give them more time. I'm sure they'll ban me from going to the doctor and then the shop, and then we'll see the wisdom of this Labour. They can't, Gallifreyan Wren, they can't ban you from seeing the doctor, and they can't ban you from going to the shop because it will go against the law. There is the law, which is the Equality Act of 2010, and it says that trans people can't be discriminated against in that way. And that's why the guidance is such bollocks, as it discriminates against trans people. It doesn't work. It's a ridiculous thing. And Burnham, obviously this is not high up on Burnham's fucking radar. I know it's high up on our radar, but you know, we're quite a small show on the internet, you know. That it needs to be higher up. But if he just said, look, this guidance isn't working, we're going to look at something else. It's not going to lose him any votes, and you know, they might win him some. Not many, I don't think. There's a lot of trans people are like, no, Labour are dead to me, which is fair enough. But yeah, Rochdale has a lovely renovated town hall. Has it, Mr. Tusk? Well, it's got a horrible Lib Dem centre. Lib Dems. Breaking news: Russia threatens to strike UK military sites over its help with supplying weapons technology to Ukraine. Question from Russia: with what weapons? Well, exactly. The guidance goes against the law, but passed. They can't. Doesn't cut it anymore. No, but that's the thing. The guidance, even Baroness Fucknuts went on record to say none of this can be enforced because it's got no power of law behind it. The author of the even worse guidance, the guidance that we've got, has been dialed back from what the Queen Turf Faulkner wanted to do. She's now in the House of Lords for some stupid fucking reason. Yeah. I fight to my last breath, but ask me to give Labour time and vote for my right to be taken away. I'll tell anyone who does that exactly where they can get off. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you to vote Labour. I'm going to tell you to vote tactically. You better re-fuck out. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, heat deaths and cold deaths, and if the AMOC, the Gulf Stream, as it's commonly known, I know it's not quite the Gulf Stream, it's the AMOC. If that circulation fucking stops, right? The cold water stops coming down from Greenland, and the warm water stops coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, then we are fuckaroonies because we could be seeing minus 40 in winters. Not minus 4, minus 40, because we are on the same line of latitude as fucking Siberia. We'll be having Canadian winters, you know? Don't put your tongue on that metal pole. Oh no, I'm stuck forever. Camp Binface makes Edinburgh Fringe debut with dig at Nigel Farage. Yeah, he did a one-man show. Our friend Camp Binface did a one-man show. It was really good. Andy B faced already with the reality of government. Yeah. Can't make any of the people happy any of the time, or whatever the thing is. You piss off. You know, you do something for one group and you piss off another group. It's why it's such a shit job. It's a shit job. So Iran has moved forward with criminalising contact with foreign media. Proposed Iranian legislation will make unauthorised contact with foreign media a criminal offence with potential punishment of up to 2 years in jail. And this could affect not just professional journalists, but also researchers, academics, activists, ordinary citizens, speaking to overseas outlets, and this is a huge problem for the media over in Iran. And I really hate the way that Trump has solidified the position of the supreme fucking leader of Iran and the Revolutionary Guards of Iran, who could have been on their last legs at this point in history. But no, Donald Trump has just made them more and more powerful. You attack a group of people and they will band together. They will set aside their differences and they will band together. And Iran has banded together. But we've got some more questions about this horrible little beady-eyed fuck, Nathan Coffness, who says he's a fucking eugenicist. Well, you're going to have to be castrated, aren't you? Look at the fucking state here. You can't fucking breed Nathan Coffness. Nathan Coffness, who's Jewish, by the way, he's a eugenicist. He's a Jewish eugenicist. Yeah, because he's a bit thick. He's a bit thick, the beady-eyed, fucking sallow, fucking skinned fuck. That is Nathan Coffness, who made up a bunch of shit that wasn't true about Jason Arday, accused him of plagiarism, which wasn't true. He's a fucking liar. Jason Arday didn't lie. He did those marathons. He did fucking do his thesis. And John Moores University looked at it for him cribbing off other people, you know, plagiarism, and found nothing coming up. He did not plagiarize. The guy was a genius. The guy was a really lovely fucking genius. But because he was black, Nathan Coffness went after him. Well, apparently Ghent University academics have raised concerns. They raised concerns about Nathan Coffness months before his allegations against Jason Arday led to Jason Arday's death. Professors reportedly questioned his expertise for the university role that he had, transparency surrounding his appointments, and what they characterised as a far-right political agenda. Coffness was later suspended, obviously, by the university following what he did to Jason Arday, for which I think he should go to jail for the rest of his fucking miserable little life. Put him in a box. Put him in a fucking box. Throw away the key, as far as I'm concerned. And this matters because the allegations were the allegations were extensively amplified in media coverage before Arday's death, and it does not, obviously show whether that these individual allegations against Coffness and the allegations, that Coffness made were real or not, but we know enough now that a lot of them weren't real. A lot of them were made up, and he targeted, this is a self-described eugenicist, he targeted Jason Arday for being black. That's it. What he did. What a cunt. What a shitbag. What a fucking vile specimen. I hope he gets spat on everywhere he goes for the rest of his miserable, godforsaken life. Little naked fucking mole rat of a man. What a horrible little twat. And have you seen it? It's always them, innit? It's always them. It's always like the most sorry excuse for the human race who end up becoming eugenicists. Where's your fucking chin? Fucking hell. Anyway. What a gobshite. Anyway, so there's a fight going on. There's a fight going on on the far right in the UK. Robert Jenrick, Honest Bob Jenrick, versus Kemi Badenoch. It's getting personal. Jenrick has accused the Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch of telling a pack of lies. Not allowed to call someone a liar in Parliament, but apparently you can do it in a newspaper. The immediate row comes after a conversation Badenoch supposedly had with Italian PM Giorgia Meloni. A Times report initially said Meloni had urged Badenoch not to cooperate with reform, and the newspaper subsequently withdrew that account. And Jenrick has accused Badenoch of inventing the episode. Woo! I'm going to wrap up in a bit, so probably we've got about 10 more minutes. If someone wants to drop a super chat in, it'll be really cool, and we could get some confetti for Diz, but also it means that I'll get a little bit of money today. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I probably have done, but obviously the amount of money we're making on this channel has it wasn't much in the first place, and it's absolutely fucking nosedived. And a lot of that's my fault. I'm not funny enough, and I'm quite abrasive sometimes, and my opinions on things don't always match with everybody who's watching this at any point. And you know what political people are like. It's like you say one, you agree on 99% of things, but there's one thing that you don't agree on or don't prioritize, and it's like, you bastard, how dare you? But yeah, if anyone wants to drop a super chat in, you will get some insta confetti, because I do have to wrap up soon. Okay, so I've got a story here about a flight attendant who has won a landmark cancer ruling. Sophie Lénon, she worked for Air France from 1989 till 2019. She accumulated over 12,600 flying hours, including 6,500 at night. And a French court has recognised her breast cancer as an occupational disease. This is reportedly the first such ruling in French aviation. They considered extensive night working, but also the exposure to ionizing radiation associated with flying at altitude. Historic exposure to secondhand cigarette smoke aboard an aircraft. Smoking was permitted aboard Air France flights until 2000. This could lead to other claims by other flight crew. I think you might start seeing this. You'll see companies that allowed people to smoke on their vehicles in their bars, in their cafes, in their restaurants, in their working men's clubs, getting fucking sued for allowing people to literally blow toxic fucking carcinogenic air into other people's faces. But the ionizing radiation, this could be devastating for the airline companies, because you can't get away from it. I don't know if they can put extra material in the outer skin of the plane or something. I don't know. Maybe we could use special paint that stops radiation from getting through. I don't know, but it is like getting a bunch of chest X-rays every time you go up in the sky. Which, you fly a couple of times a year, it's not going to be a big deal. But you fly a lot as you work as an air hostess or an air host. What are they called? What are they called now? It's not a hostess, is it? Not the hostess with the mostess, but whatever the term is. But yeah. Golfane Ren, you're not going to be a good little sacrifice. Fucking fight. No, or if you're not in a position to do that, then we'll fight on your behalf. But no one's asking you to sit quietly. Fucking make some noise, bang the drum. And I don't have a problem with you coming on here and saying, something needs to be done about this, because it absolutely does. Well, it's like my mum always said, Elle, you got to laugh or you'll cry. That's the way I feel about a lot of things. Listen, I've got some good news. Okay, we could do some good news. All right. AI-assisted brain surgery has restored a man's sight. The patient Reese Hibbert, 48, had a tumor affecting his eyesight, and the AI analyzed live surgical camera images, and helped identify nerves and blood vessels. Brilliant. There's also been a major advance against pancreatic cancer. The FDA in America has approved a drug that is a once daily tablet that targets what are called RAS proteins that drive most pancreatic cancers. Obviously, pancreatic cancer is one of the most deadly cancers that are out there. The median survival with the drug is 13.2 months, compared with chemotherapy, which is just 6.7 months. This is not a cure, but pancreatic cancer has historically been very exceptionally difficult to treat, because the relevant mutations were regarded as effectively undruggable. There's also more great the medical news. The shingles vaccine may have an unexpected cardiovascular bonus. Oxford-led research examined 70,000 US adults aged 60 plus, and they received the Shingrix vaccine. And researchers deliberately exploited the switch from older shingles vaccine to Shingrix to reduce some of the usual selection bias in observational studies. Next up, we have you can buy plug-in from 9 o'clock this morning, so just before we came on air. The plug-in solar systems can now legally be sold for ordinary domestic use in Great Britain. If you don't know what this is, if you've got a window or balcony that you can put a panel out on, it goes to a little inverter thing, and then you plug it into the power. Oh, thank you so much, David Faulkner, for the 15 Hong Kong dollars. Good fight between Robert Degenerate and Kem Bad Enoch. Yes. Thank you very much for that. And I promise you, Confetti. Yes, yeah. I'm thinking of taking one of those jobs in Sainsbury's. It'll pay better. But yeah, I can't, can I? I'm too old. Too old to begin the training. Anyway, balcony solar arrives in Britain today. So what it does is it's plug-in power, right? So it's not like you plug something into the power itself. You don't do that. So it's, imagine you bought a solar panel and then it had a little inverter, solar controller, right? And then it had a socket, and then you could plug things into the socket to run it off the solar panel. It's not that. Not a socket. It's a plug, and you plug it into your house, not through an extension because it gets too hot. Plug it into your house, into a normal, as long as you don't have really old wiring. Okay, if you've got really old, the twisted fabric-covered wiring of the 1950s, if you've got that, don't do this. All right. But if you've got modern wiring in your house, it's all gauged to the right size and everything, then you can plug in and it will give you around, I think it's the 400. Is it 400? 400 watts, is it? Oh, it's not like a mad amount, but if you're watching TV, if you're running the microwave for a little bit, no, the microwave's 800 watts, isn't it? Trying to think what you could use. If your fridge, you can power your fridge and you can power your TV for the day when the sun is shining for free, essentially, because it goes and apparently any power that goes back into the grid, because it's a plug-in power thing and it's a lot cheaper than getting proper solar panels put on your roof. You can't, any extra power will be put back into the grid, but they won't give you any money for it, which is a bit annoying, but it could save you a couple £100 a year for just running costs during the day. The fridge is the big one because the fridge is always on. So if you've got a way of plugging in, that's good. It's intended particularly for renters, flats, households where conventional rooftop solar isn't practical. And systems are expected to be sold through Argos and Currys, B&Q, Screwfix, Amazon, etc. 800 watts. Sorry, typical small systems. 800 watts. So that you won't be able to use your hair curlers or your what's it called, kettle off it. But at the same time, so I have a problem with my solar panels in Panama in that if someone plugs in hair curlers or a hair dryer or something, it will blow the whole system. Whereas this won't blow the system because the power's going in through a plug into a socket into your house and going into your electrical input, whatever. They should sell the plug-in batteries as well. The latest thing is certified to be safe, though. There's more regulations on the equipment you use for this solar free power for your house. Got to admit, diabetic ulcer is one of the things that worries me on the GLP pills now, so hopefully it's working. Well, fingers crossed, Andy. Newsflash saying Russia threatens attacks on British bases. Yeah. All saber rattling from the Russians. They're giving up for a big attack, I reckon. I reckon. I clan via reckon. Listen, I've got to wrap up soon. I'll just quickly go to the papers. But yeah, so we got some good news, some medical breakthroughs, good news stories. Yeah, it's like I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. But yeah, I do find that if I just go off on one about how much of a gobshite Donald Trump is or Nigel Farage, it's much more lucrative. There's no money in telling nice news stories, but more than 3,000 endangered frogs have been released in California for the yellow-legged frogs and tadpoles. The mountain yellow-legged frogs, their species have declined by 98%. So they're hoping that these frogs that have been released will see things sorted. There's also, get things back on track. Zebra sharks are being rewilded. This is around Raja Ampats, the Raja Ampats in Indonesia, which is up by Sulawesi, over by West Papua, one of the most beautiful areas for diving in the world, if you like your scuba diving. So that's really cool. The Galapagos snapdragon is recovering from near extinction. This is a plant. It's not actually a dragon, unfortunately. In 2007, only 6 wild plants were known to exist, and the adult wild population now grown to 28, which is good. Meanwhile, the Roman Space Telescope, NASA's Roman Space Telescope, the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, is due to launch at the end of the month. This is going to study dark energy, dark matter, and exoplanets. It has a Hubble-like resolution, but a field of view around 100 times larger, which is cool. And in Bolivia this week, Fabiana Justiniero and Scarlett Rocha became Bolivia's first same-sex couple legally allowed to marry. The court battle lasted almost 4 years. A constitutional tribunal ruled that authorities had discriminated against them. The ruling applies directly to this couple, but it creates an important legal precedent for others. So they haven't legalized same-sex marriage, but they probably have to now because there's just going to be more court cases of people saying, "Why can't we get married? That's discrimination." So that's good. There's some good going on in the world. There's some good. We need some good. We need some good. Anyway, I'm going to quickly do the papers now. Papers, yay! Here we go. And we've got the metro there. Tourists vanish in deadly surge. Just absolutely abominable fucking footage of this. Oh my god. It is genuinely terrifying. Over 30 Britons missing in Nepal. Flash flooding. They're back. I don't care. We've got social media addiction. Tech giant pays 70 billion over child harm. That's the newspaper there. That's to do with the landmark ruling over Meta. Britain's lost in Nepal flood. Raging waters kill at least 160 people around Tibet border. Then we've got The Guardian here. She was the real deal, talking about Dolly Parton. PM drops support for donations cap after lobbying from unions. That's the main story today. Hundreds feared dead in Nepal flash floods, and Meta to pay for 17 billion to end social media lawsuit, which could have ended up costing them over 1.4 trillion or something mad. Chinese fake Range Rovers taking over Britain. Okay. Germany in talks to, as long as they're safe, Germany in talks to fund Trident, Meta to pay £13 billion, Maccabee police chief in misconduct inquiry, Harper killers to stay in jail, and France's big cheeses win relief from heat. Then we've got Dolly's last photo, and then we've got Regal has landed. I don't care. Regal. Oh, see, Regal is that doesn't really work as a headline. Flash flood, Nepal death toll mounts. It's going to be thousands. It's going to be thousands of people. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so dangerous in there, up in the mountains. You've got these glaciers that are just fucking falling apart. They're just falling apart. And they're so high up. The energy that is created by by this stuff falling off a fucking cliff. Burnham battles budget jitters with a pledge to take pressure off business. We're not getting a budget until the end of October. We've got Meta settles children's social media addiction claims. Low-cost chicken climbs to top of food's pecking order. We've got Evergrande liquidators freed to chase PwC globally. Trump, the head of Evergrande, the Chinese developer, is just started a life sentence in jail for corruption. Trump halts visa work. NG bills cap to rise. Kyiv honors Musk. What? Samsung loses to Swatch. Gates urges AI guardrails. Tom fears of impasse. I don't really understand that. And then we've got LNG price hits 3-year high, which is not surprising. That's liquid natural gas. We've got the Express here. Britain's OAPs facing dire winter. I mean, old people aren't scared enough. Let's scare them some more. Here's the Express. You're all going to die. And then we've got the world pays tribute to glam, funny, kind Dolly. And then we've got Dolly. Singer died surrounded by loved ones at the brief secret cancer battle. She made you feel the centre of the world. 2 held after house blaze. Gang revenge fears over fire deaths. And I'm just looking through the papers there. I do not see a reference there to Tim Curry. Oh, there you go. Farewell, Frankenfurter. Just above me there. You can see Frankenfurter. Is that the only one? Is that the only one that's got him on the front cover? Oh, mate, what the fuck? This is like when Princess Diana died and Mother Teresa died in the same week. Or when Farrah Fawcett died on the same week as Michael Jackson. I didn't get any attention because, someone a bit more famous died. So everyone's like, oh, don't worry about the other person who died. Well, I'd say both Dolly Parton and Tim Curry were bloody wonderful people. And I wish they were still with us. And I hate that they're gone. And that orange ball of shite and snot and puke and putrid fucking fatty remains is still with us. Anyway, can you explain spoons? Salad fingers like spoons, especially rusty spoons. I like the feeling of rust against my salad finger. Okay, well, that's it. I'm going to go. Thanks for the super chat. After the 15 Hong Kongian dollars. I'm going to go away now and reconsider my life choices. And so might be back tomorrow. I don't know. I might have to probably going to have to go get a job, aren't I? I'll do my best to be here tomorrow. So do me a favor. If you did like this, or even if you didn't like it, just give us a like. Go on, please. David Faulkner. Oh, thank you very much for the 38 Hong Kong dollars. That's very kind of you. I subscribe to you for your opinions, whether I agree with them or not. You represent a demographic I want. I'll never unsubscribe as long as you're all saying, oh, thank you. That's really nice. Oh, well, that's giving me a bit of wind in my sail. You can have another. There is no spoon. Who took my spoon? I wish to crush your rusty kettle. Anyway, so I'm going to go now. Thanks so much to David Faulkner. Like I said, give us a like and also hit the subscribe button. Like I say, the shows are going to be at slightly different times and when I can do them, fitting around. The kids are still off school until middle of next week. So until then, listen, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you know when it's going to go live. I'll hopefully be back tomorrow. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm going to try. I'll try my best. But I'll just say thanks so much for watching. And until we meet again, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.